Today on Playthingamajig, we've got the brand new Transformers the Movie Studio Series Grimlock and Autobot Wheelie, and it starts right. Studio Series Grimlock from the 1986 Transformers the Movie line with the backdrop that he comes with. It's a little distracting, but I thought I'd put it in there first so you can check it out before getting rid of it, as I just did. On his shoulder is the little Wheelie bot, who Wheelie was kind of annoying, but he does actually pose pretty well on Grimlock's shoulder in robot mode or on the dinosaur mode's neck. It actually is kind of neat, although he is kind of a stupid character. One interesting thing about him, besides the fact that he's labeled Studio Series, which would mean he's supposed to look like he would in that cartoon, and with the detailing and stuff that they have on here, this is way nicer than what you saw on the screen, but we'll go with it. However, the scaling on this is kind of interesting. It does not match the current waves, the War for Cybertron series. It very much goes along the line of the Prime Wars trilogy figures, as in his example here. Here is a Power of the Primes Rodimus, and here is a Titan's Return Soundwave, and as you can see, both in styling, detail, and scale, he goes along with these guys, which is great because I have a bunch of these guys. But he himself, again, never mind the fact that he doesn't really follow what he looks like in this movie, he looks really great. The detailing, the styling is great. He looks very much like a modernized version of the G1 Grimlock, both in dinosaur mode and in robot mode. And if you have any of the figures from the Prime Wars trilogy, like the ones I just showed, you're used to the articulation and the construction, and he's just a really great overall figure. Final score for Transformers the Movie Studio Series Grimlock. For articulation and posability, 4. If you're at all familiar with the Prime Wars trilogy leader class figures, you know these guys are loaded with articulation points. You know they are very posable. The only knock really against him is that he's a big blocky robot, so it's hard to put him in every single pose you want. For accessories, 3, kind of highs and lows. It comes with the backdrop, which is kind of cool for probably a very small percentage of people. He comes with this big gun, which I don't think is even in the film. He basically spent the whole movie in robot mode. However, on the plus side, he comes with Wheelie, who's a dork, and he's totally out of scale. But he does look kind of cool on his shoulder, or he does look kind of cool on the neck of the robot. So who'd have thought that Wheelie was the cool part of accessories? On the looks department, I want to give him a 5. He looks completely awesome. However, he's a 4 because he's supposed to look like he does in the cartoon movie. He has way too much detail for that, and in robot mode, his tail's a little bit stubbier than it is in the film. Still looks like a great figure, just doesn't look exactly like he should in the film. Finally, construction, very solid, holds most of his poses. This little toe thing is really loose, and I could definitely see that happening to all of them. Also, when I was transforming him, the T-Rex arm popped out of its socket. All in all, that's a 4.344. That's 15 out of 20. That puts him at very strongly recommended, especially if you like Dinobots, if you like the scale of the Prime Wars leader class figures, or if you're just a big fan of Grimlock, I highly suggest that you go out and get this guy. I think he's going to sell out. I'm Mark of Playthingamajig, where it's all about the toys. See you next time. So here we have our unboxing of the Studio Series Grimlock and the annoying Wheelie. Most of the Studio Series up until this point have been from live action films. So this one is very interesting in that it comes from an animated film. I know there's a couple other ones coming out, including a Jazz and maybe Cup or something from this film. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more because I know this has been very popular since it first came up for offer. Going to go over the box in just a second. One note about the box. This guy I found in the wild. This box really stands out on the shelf especially probably for older collectors, because it doesn't match the current waves of boxes. The War for Cybertron trilogy, which has been in stores now for a couple years, they have a very specific look, and the figures are on a smaller scale. This box and figure scale matches with the prior trilogy, which was the Titans Return and the Combiner Wars, and I believe there was a third one, where they have this very square shape to them, the giant window, the artwork. This is very indicative of an older style box, and it looks absolutely awesome. If you're the kind of person that leaves it in a box, you got a good one. I am not, so we're going to check it out. This artwork repeats itself. It's on this side in blue with the giant 86. It's on this side in, well, black and red with the giant 86. And on the back, we have him in robot form. We have him in Dinobot form. We have stupid Wheelie with a... Jeebus, is that a slingshot? That'll bring down Megatron. Plus, we got a picture on the back here of apparently the backdrop that is included. Gives you a scene from the 86 film. I'll have to check that out. All right, let's get her open up. Multi-tool. Cut all of our tape. Oh, there's no tape on the bottom. One piece of tape. That's it. Huh. Take this out gingerly as to not ruin the backdrop. Instructions, empty box. All right, I'm going to lift this off just to get a look at this. So the backdrop is, it just... There's tape on it, which is a little bit disturbing. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a wrinkle right here. There's a piece of tape. I'm not quite sure why that's on there. So I don't know if you display it like this. It looks like the... If I remember the movie correctly, and I haven't seen it in a while, this looks like... Well, it's something on Cybertron, I'm sure. I mean, I was thinking that it was the inside of the pit where they were like something about piranhacons, or... But it's square, it's not round, so I don't think it's that. Maybe it's just a generic backdrop. It might actually been a print from the generic backdrops they painted for that movie. And it's got a nice dent in it, which is not nice. I don't know that I would use it anyway, but having the tape on it and the dent in it isn't great. I'll slide that up there. This is what I bought it for. Tape here. I like Grimlock. I was, let's see, 84. I was 12. So, you know, some big giant guy that supposedly was more powerful than Optimus Prime was kind of a neat idea. And there's Wheelie, got one there. Nothing around his neck. Oh, right here. These guys have the most ridiculous origin. They found bones in a cavern, and then Wheeljack and I forgot who just decided to go and make dinosaur robots. Nothing at all what the Marvel Comics history of them is. Nothing at all what the film history of them is. They just decided to make them, and they made them so accurate they were stupid. Because dinosaurs have a small brain. So at the end, Optimus Prime decided that they were too dangerous, so they just walled them back into the cavern that they found the bones in and left them there until the shit hit the fan, and then they called upon them. The Dinobots became the MacGuffin. Whenever the Autobots got into some serious trouble, they called up the Dinobots because somehow they made this guy. Somehow they made him bigger and stronger than Optimus Prime himself. So basically, they could have sent him to the Decepticon base any day and had him take out, Megatron. But they didn't. They walled him into a cavern and just called on him when they really, really needed help. Crinkle time! Toss that away. Look at all of these little threads I cut. Okay, so pointing out that we still have this backdrop. Sure, I'm gonna get this all on the screen. All right, so we've got a backdrop over here that we're not that thrilled with. We've got giant old guy Grimlock, sorry, and we've got Wheelie with he's already got his slingshot in hand. Well, isn't that helpful and ridiculous? And we've got this giant gun. And we've got an instruction sheet and garbage. That is centered. Everything in the box. We will move on. Unboxing done. Okay, so we've got him out of the box. We've got him posed a couple of ways, and now we have the instruction sheet here, which has 24 steps on 2 different sides to get him from robot to dinosaur mode. I'm going to start working on that and then slap it into chipmunk chatter so you don't have to hear all of my ramblings, and it won't take 37 minutes because I'm old. Here we go. Right, so we have to cut the arms with the toes like such. And go to the top, the wrists like such. Freeze. So this is the finished product. Okay, so now we're back, and we're going to turn him back into robot mode, and here goes some more chipmunk chatter. Okay. Oh no, he's back to being a robot, which is what I wanted. So here's a little more in-depth look at some of the features that I couldn't fit in the first part of the video. Okay, so first of all, this is Wheelie. Wheelie is this annoying little bot that doesn't transform, that shows up in the film. Yes, he has a slingshot because, you know, why wouldn't he? Because he was prominently in the film after meeting the Dinobots, they included him as a neat little thing for big fans of the film. I'm a big fan of the film and a big fan of Grimlock. I am not a big fan of this annoying little guy, but it's a funny little thing. He does not transform into anything. He actually doesn't really have, he's got like a 5 points of articulation kind of figure. His knees are just stuck in this position. And his arm keeps popping off. Jesus. And he doesn't even, like, his fingers are actually molded like he's pulling back on the string for the slingshot, but there's no string. So he is made to either ride. That's why he has this big bow-legged design to him. He's made to either ride on Grimlock's robot shoulder or on his neck when he is a dinosaur. But he's kind of pointless. Anyway. Okay, so I think I pointed out in the video, this little, it's like a back toe. On mine is super loose. The other ones are all pretty good. They hold where you put them. This one is just super loose. Doesn't really matter. The elbows on this guy are really weird. So, okay, so here's how the arm is normally. If it's just straight, it's like this. And then if it's a dinosaur, these are the dinosaur toes, and then this is tilted in. So this is how the leg goes forward as a dinosaur. And as you can see from this little gearing right here, he can bend his knee like a dinosaur. When he is a robot, get his hand back out here. His hand's actually locking. Okay, there. When he's a robot, his hand's out like this, and now his elbow goes this way, which I think looks really weird. I would much rather see this gearing elbow. Like, the whole thing is really screwy if you do it wrong. I'd really see that kind of elbow, but so I just thought that was screwy out of the box. You could actually turn it with this gear right here. There's a pivot. You can turn it and use your elbow this way. You can even turn the hand around 180 so that it's upright. But then you have this weird cavity that the hand goes in when it transforms. So there's really no winning in that way. So yeah, I just thought it was a very odd elbow. Because as a robot, it's an elbow this way, and as a dinosaur, it's a knee this way. So, I mean, it's very ingenious that they were able to make it work both ways. And it locks pretty well. I just thought his elbow looked a little bit weird when he... Oh, like, look how thin that looks. Like, where's his tough elbow? But I guess the knee kind of does the same thing. If you bend it far enough and this comes out of here, it's not a very tough-looking knee. So it's just an odd thing that I noticed when I was transforming him. His elbows just seemed like they were kind of like backwards. And then I saw with that gear. What else? Other than that, I mean, he really is a very good G1 rendition while having all the detailing, of the newer lines. The Prime Wars trilogy and the War for Cybertron trilogy has all this nice detail work that just didn't exist in 1986. I think he looks a lot better for that. I just think that detracts from calling him a studio series because none of this crap was in there. But all his colors were. So I mean, they're very real religious to the colors. Even the red band that doesn't quite go all the way around his dinosaur body when he's a T-Rex is there. Yeah, I think they did a really good job on this guy. I'm not entirely sure if he is a reuse of any mold. I know there was an anniversary. I can't find it. I was trying to find it to make sure I didn't talk out of my butt when I made this video. But there was like an anniversary, I don't know, 25th, 30th, 40th anniversary Grimlock that came in a really cool window package in dinosaur mode. I believe this might use part or all of that same mold, but I couldn't find one to verify for sure. I did find a what's the series of the really good ones? I found one of those of a Grimlock, and the tail was a lot longer, had a much longer point on it. So they're definitely not reusing that one. Masterpiece, that's the word I was looking for. They're not using the Masterpiece mold, at least not in the tail. This tail kind of comes to a stubby point. These little points right here. This is the point of his tail, and the Masterpiece one was, it looked like it was about twice as long. So I don't know for sure if this is a brand new mold. I do think it is partially reused, but I also know it's pretty awesome. Even the little T-Rex arms are cool. My this arm kept popping out on me at first, but I just pushed it back into the socket and it held pretty good. The arms are they have a pivot or a swivel. No, there's a pivot. And I don't know. I think he's pretty awesome. I think it's weird the way these go. I was actually trying to find in the cartoon if that's the way these go when he's a robot, but so many of the scenes in the film, he's a dinosaur almost all the time. So I couldn't really verify. I also don't remember him ever using a gun. I thought all he ever did was like bash stuff, either as a T-Rex where he'd use his fire breath, or he'd punch the crap out of stuff when he was a robot. I don't remember him ever actually having a gun. But it's nice that he has one because heck, he's a Transformer and he should. He has the cool tilting feet thing that I pointed out like months ago that my grapple figure had. Oh, actually no, it's not the same joint that I'm thinking of. It is a very nice tilt. Like I had a really cool pose where his leg's way back here. I can still make his foot flat on the ground from doing that. That's a very nice joint there. Yeah, he actually doesn't have the joint I was thinking of that grapple has, where the foot can either tilt forward or tilt back and still make contact with the ground. But that's not either here nor there. He is really cool. I really like him a lot. He will join my collection. From the
Me, Grimlock, am very impressive action figure.
Not that throwawayable and disposable. And the detailing. Where's the movie Power of the Primes? What the fuck am I talking about? I never stopped this thing.
Thank you.